shall touch faith. Your own personal Jesus.
Jay, you there?
I've got a question.
Okay.
And I don't know really how to express them.
All right.
But what I want to do and go back to give you a little bit of history. I am have my genes are like from the American Indian.
Okay.
What is it? I used to go when I was a kid. I went to church all the time, different churches than my mother and them. And anyway, after a while, I got away from it because it became too. All they begged for was money.
Okay.
So I walked away. Even when I was small and during that time, I had visions, different visions.
What do you mean?
Things that I could see that people didn't see.
Uh-huh.
I could meet you in a crowd, and I could read something from you that you might not see within yourself or know what's going to happen to you. This has happened, and it's true. I've done it so many times, it's not funny. I had people approach me and said, "Oh, you read?" And I said, "Oh, well, the book's good. I play real dumb." And I've done it for my own MD. He didn't believe me. Sure enough, it all hit him upside the head. And then he called me on the telephone later 2 or 3 times. "What else do you see?" So don't ask me what visions mean or why. And I don't know that if this has going back to the people that I've met that do have quite a bit of Indian in them.
Yeah.
They have the same. Some of them, I would say, a great deal of them have the same. I don't know if you want to say knowledge or whatever the God it is.
Yeah.
But I've done this and I've gone through it so many times, and I even went through with the shrink one time and told him something, and he looked at me and he just says, "Oh well," walked away. And when it came true within about 3 weeks, my phone rang during the night. He woke me up.
Okay, sir, here's what I recommend.
Yeah.
Do you got access to the internet?
No, I don't have computer.
Find somebody that does, and do a search for James Randi, R-A-N-D-I. This guy is a former stage magician, and he's got a $1 million prize for anyone who can prove under scientific conditions that they have any kind of supernatural abilities like the ones that you're claiming to have. If you would like to have $1 million, you contact that man and you work with his team to set up a valid scientific experiment to prove the existence of the abilities you claim. And if you can prove them, they give you $1 million.
Well, it's not just with everybody.
But if you're asking us to believe that you have some kind of special powers, what we're going to ask you to do is prove it. And not only is there a way for you to do that, there's a way to do it and make money at it. So, short of that, we're going to sit here and shrug our shoulders and say, it sounds like we got a kook on the phone.
Well, I'm going to disagree. Wait a minute, just listen to me.
Okay.
Well,
because but not you, but the guy that you're taking the place of, that's been on the show before.
Uh-huh. Do you know the name?
I don't remember his name. He's been on there 4 or 5 weeks in a row. That, let's just see what happens.
What do you mean?
Well, you don't believe me, but I just see a bad image that comes within the background behind him. When he's
some guy, so something bad is going to happen to some guy who you can't even identify? This proves nothing, sir.
So was on this show?
No, he's the other host that comes on this show. He's been there before you were here the other week or so.
I'm the normal host.
I know the bald-headed guy's always on there.
Yeah. So you're saying not me.
Not you, but the other one.
Okay, so...
when you can identify the specific person you think something bad is going to happen to.
I don't remember names.
And when you can identify the bad thing that you think is going to happen to that person, because, people live their lives and day after day after day goes by, and every once in a while bad things happen. So a general claim that some bad thing is going to happen to, say, Ashley, is always going to come true. That is not proof that you have any kind of special powers. I could say some bad thing will happen to you, and I'd be right, because eventually...
You can give me a date.
You didn't give us a date.
I said within 3 weeks.
Within 3 weeks?
Sure.
Yes, something bad will happen to you within 3 weeks. Absolutely it will.
No, it won't, because it won't let it.
You're not going to stub your toe. You're not going to misplace your socks. You're nothing bad at all is going to happen to you in 3 weeks. What a charmed existence you lead, sir. Come on.
Oh, well, okay, if you don't believe it, you don't have to. That's
But the point is, and I'm sorry being tough on you, okay?
No,
my point is, it's very easy apparently for people to convince themselves that they have spectacular powers like this because you're making these incredibly vague predictions. And then patting yourself on the back when they come true. What you need to do to prove that you have actual abilities is make specific predictions. Things where you can actually be tested on them. Things where, it's not just the normal course of affairs is going to result in some bad thing happening to some random person in 3 weeks. Of course it will. That doesn't prove anything. Plus there's James Randi. I hope you win $1 million.
Would definitely be helpful.
Okay? That's off your call.
Because you're the one that's ignorant, not me. Because when it happens, like I'm trying to tell you, I don't see it until what I'm saying to you is I can meet anybody and something happens. And that can prove it through a friend of mine, through a physician. When she told him something, he laughed at her.
Okay, well, again, fine. You have a claim you can't prove except by getting some other person.
It's not with ignorant people.
That's not my fault.
Right.
That's not my fault.
Yeah. Again, proving something under the scientific standard doesn't mean that they're going to say, give us a prediction about this guy right here, right now. They can work with these things. So, again, I definitely get in touch with James Randi.
They'll let you pick the person. They'll let you pick the person that you want to make a prediction about.
We have heard that, this isn't about the money, it's not for personal gain and such. If that's the case, hey, there are a lot of charities out there that would be glad to have $1 million.
Don't give him ideas of how to weasel out of this, Ashley.
So whatever. But yeah, go ahead. That is something that we would definitely like to know about and, have studied. And if this is something that some people have this ability, we should know about that. We're just not going to take hearsay, and we're not going to take untestable claims. That's not. We're not being mean to you by doing that, and we're certainly not being ignorant. We're actually doing the smart thing, which is waiting for actual valid evidence. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I've just suggested a way you could become a millionaire. Please go do that. Okay.
I don't need the $1 million. I already got it.
See, there goes the excuse.
No, it isn't. I don't mean that. Because I already planned to give it away to the Austin Society.
Fine. You got another $1 million. Think how much good you could do with that, even if you don't want it for yourself.
The ability of other people there, and there are some. If you go listen and study it under
this is enough. Please.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and let you go at this point.
Go prove it to James Randi. Give them $1 million away if you don't want, but we're not going to believe you just because you say so, and not just because your friend says so.
Yeah. But thanks a lot for calling.
See ya.
But as with, I can't speak about Native Americans specifically, but it sounds like just like any other psychic. Usually, either they make so many predictions that some of them are bound to come true just because if you make 150 predictions about this year, a couple of them are going to be right. The other 145 may be wrong.
This guy's taking the other tactic, which was incredibly vague predictions. Some non-specific thing is going to happen to some non-specific person in the next 3 weeks. Well, of course it will. Yeah. Of course it will.
We will be on the lookout for any very unusual bad circumstances to our male co-host, because it did say him, for the next till the end of January. And
wait, is there only one other male co-host?
Russell and Don.
There's two.
So there's two.
So no, I'm sorry. This is not a test. It means nothing. No matter what happens, this is not a test. It doesn't mean anything.
The content of this video is produced by the Atheist Community of Austin, a nonprofit educational organization promoting positive atheism and the separation of church and state. If you enjoyed this content and are willing and able to provide a donation, please visit the website below.